Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday evening, which means it's time for us to have some fun in the kitchen and coping with life. For those of you who are new, a very big welcome. If you're just joining us on the replay or here live, DearMamaSal is a group of people who get together 3 times a week, and we help each other cope with life in general. The What we're going to cook today is a chicken pot pie. And that is part of a request that I had from one of the viewers. Could I do some cooking in jars so that they could see how it's done? I'm a great believer in cooking in mason jars. I particularly like this size because to me, that's the ultimate portion control. If I can get a meal into there, then I know that's a pretty good portion control. Hi there, Jody. And so for me, it is just like, why not? If you have difficulty with your portion control, start cooking in jars. I have one slightly bigger one here. And that one, I think, is a 2-cup one. But I normally cook with the 1.5 cup total. And I find now that that is enough. So we're going to do a chicken pot pie in here. And I'll actually do a second one in here, just to do a different one. And I've actually just used a lot of my jars up this week doing something else. So that's why I've got 2 different ones. Not that you care, I'm sure. All right. Before we get onto this, a couple of quick notes. I wanted to make sure that we welcome Jody back. She was away at lunchtime today, and now she's back to join us for this evening's broadcast. And, Jody, if you want to give an update, please do, in terms of, I know that you have been cleared to eat pureed food now, and basically that's called, baby food. But she is allowed to eat that, and you've got all sorts of fun things I noticed that you can eat. Hi there, Ilza, good to see you. So that is awesome. I also wanted to let you know that I heard from Manon, and she's doing well and enjoying her new job. And so the birthdays that I know about this week are coming up. One is, let me think here, Linda in the UK on the 25th. And then I believe it's Farmer's birthday, for those of you who go back that far. Farmer's birthday on the 26th. So happy birthday to them both. And that is awesome. I wanted to give a heads up to Jeannie. She managed to get home. She's moved home now. And learning to just pace herself, because she's now trying to unpack those pods that she had all the furniture and stuff in. And I've said to her, it'd be a really good idea to pace yourself, because I know what the overwhelm is like. I wanted to also give a quick heads up to Lauren in Tasmania, who's doing a great job of managing to be a great auntie and be studying for university. And I think that's, wonderful that she sort of is using the two to help each other. In other words, she'll do a few cuddles of the new grandnephew and then go and do some uni work. And I just love it that she's learned how to pace herself that way. Heads up to Crystal, who joined us last week, and I hope we'll see her again. She's struggling with a cancer diagnosis, kidney cancer, I believe. And so if she does pop in, let's make sure we give her all the support that we can. Lauren's saying, and now that the Olympics have started, I'm in big trouble. You know something? It's called a test of your discipline. And I would totally agree with you on that one. But you are more than capable. Jody, with your permission, I will reread what I read at lunchtime in terms of your update, just so people can get it. Hi there, Karen. Good to see you. Right. So here we go. Here's what Jody told us, and I repeated it at lunchtime, so let's do that again. All right. That the pain is decreasing. It's down to a level 2 or 3. For those of you who don't know, Jody had a gastric sleeve type no, a gastric bypass, sorry, surgery last week. And she said, I was advanced to pureed food, and that'll be for 1 month. I'm pleased about the variety options that I'm allowed to have now, even the simplest things that I once took for granted. At my appointment on Thursday, I've lost 13 pounds already. Isn't that amazing? And she will be starting her supplements again, which is awesome. And she said, I'm having some fun researching and rewriting recipes to adapt them to my new lifestyle. Thank you all for your support and encouragement on my journey. Well, it's our pleasure, and we're just so glad that you're doing so well. Oh, by the way, she doesn't get to eat bread until August, but August is not that far away, if you think about it. So, yes, Lauren's saying how proud she is of Jody. I think it's been an incredible journey that we've all been able to walk with you. All right, so today, chicken pot pies and instant cupcakes. Yay. Now, the first thing, I've got to get this in the right order, otherwise I will totally mess up. I'm going to make the pastry first. And then while that's back in the fridge cooling more, I will then make the rest of it. And then we will put it all together. How does that sound? Do you think you can handle it? Now, the first thing they tell you about pastry, and by the way, I am not a big pastry person. I don't actually like pastry that much because of the carbs. And Karen, what I've done is a slightly less carb type of pastry. So what I wanted to do is just show you, I'm just going to quickly do it with my food processor, and see how we can do. Karen, I'll let Jody deal with you, Karen. All right, so here we go. The one thing they say is to keep everything cold. So I literally have everything to do with the pastry in the fridge at the moment. The rolling pin, the mixing thing, everything, it's all in the fridge at the moment. And so why? That is the question. Let's see how smart our viewers are. Why do you need to keep things cold when you are making flaky pastry? Anybody know? And while you're answering that, I'm going to start getting things out. Okay. What did I get for answers? It makes it more tender. Yes. What you need is for the fat content to be still a little bit chunky if possible. So I literally put the whole of this into the fridge. And here we go. All right. Now I'm going to put this up in case anybody wants to see what I used. I'm going to be using supposedly 1 1/4 cups of flour. What I've done is 1 cup of regular flour, and I've done the 1/4 cup with almond flour, making it slightly less carby. And I found that works really well to just use a little bit. All right. And then we're going to have 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons of butter, and 3 tablespoons of shortening. That would be like Crisco. And 1/4 cup of cold water. And I'm preheating the oven at 375. All right. So everybody who wants that, you'll be able to read that again later. Okay. So very simple. So here's my 1 cup of regular flour. It's going to go in here. Move this over so you can see it. And then 1/4 cup of almond flour is going to go in. I'm going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Yeah. And then, oh, we need the fats and the water. Here's the cold water. All right, so here is the Crisco, and here is butter, some of which is now dusting the floor. Okay, here we go. And as you can probably hear, that is still pretty solid. The Crisco is a little soft, but that's the way that it goes. And we're just going to put about a quarter of a cup of water, cold water, in there. And now I'm going to zap it over at the workstation. I do it there because it's less noise for you, so hang on a second. Now, as you can see, Nigel the Ninja is working. As you can see, it's now in what I call big crumb stage. And I'm not going to over-process it. All right? So now I'm going to take this bit out and put it in the sink. And I'm going to do this the easy way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it all in a bag so I don't touch it. And there is a reason for that. And the reason for that is my hands are pretty warm, as is my heart, and I don't want to touch it. So now I'm just going to get it all together a little bit, but inside the silicone bag here. How many of you understand my logic? Yes, it gets tough if you handle it too much. So all I've done is get it into a little bit of a goodie there. And now I'm just going to roll it a little bit with my cold. I've even had my rolling pin in the fridge. So now I'm just going to roll it a bit. And I let some air out. Yeah. Now you can probably see that it's got chunks of fat. and stuff in there. It's meant to have that. It's good. This is going in the fridge. I've never done this before. It's such fun. Do I look like I know what I'm doing? Forget that. Okay, so let's put this away. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cook the chicken. Oh. I've lost the chicken. I'm going to find it. Where would I put it, people? Oh. I think this could be a duh moment. Maybe I put it with the things I put. Cool. No? This is so funny. Where else would I have put it? I did. I put, how smart was that? All the things. Okay, so here we go. I've had it marinating in yogurt. Anybody know why it's a good idea to marinate it in yogurt? So I put yogurt and soy sauce in there and some black pepper. Pretty easy. Yes, Jody is a smart person in terms of cooking. Yogurt helps tenderize it, breaks down the muscle fibers, and I've had it in this marinade for the afternoon. Now, yum. I don't know about you, but this is just like such fun. All right, so all I'm going to do is get that cooking. And at the same time, I am going to cook the vegetables that we're going to use. So I've got leftover vegetables. What have I got in here? Onion, leeks, zucchini, peppers, tomato, carrot, celery. Okay? Now I'm going to pre-cook these a bit just so that we can get it done in the time. And what I hope you can see, lots of color. All right? So that is important. Isabel, I think I might have the answer to that. If you go to the top of the chat, it gives you the choice, I think, to either have the top chat or all of the chat. Could be wrong. So that might be what it is. Okay. Where's that going? Oh, why isn't... Apparently it helps if you plug it in. Don't know why that is. It's just one of those technical things that for some reason it works better. There we go. All right, so we're going to do that. We're going to need, you can use that for the vegetables and for that. Okay, we're good. Oh, a little bit more in there. Now, the next little trick I wanted to teach you about was this one. Normally, making pot pie, I would make like almost like a gravy using flour again and stuff. But as you know, I am trying to make sure that what I have got going is, as healthy as I can make it. And so for that perspective, I've decided not to make my usual sort of flour-based thickening. What I've done is something completely different, and I thought I'd share that with you. And I do this all the time. I'm looking for ways to be healthier about what I do. So what I've got here is a can of pea and smoked ham. All right. And earlier today, I divided it up into cupcake liners. It's a great way to freeze it. It's just put it into the, I've got these silicone liners, and I just freeze them like this. And after it's frozen, I then put them into another bag. And so all I'm going to do is use this pea soup, if you like, as the base for the pot pie. Can you understand why? Oh, Isabel's trying to work out where Nigel the Ninja is. Yeah, it's my it's my processor. we called it Nigel the Ninja some time ago. All right, well done, welcome to the program. All right, so you understand how I did this. And the other thing is that is a big can of soup. So now during the week, I can take out a couple of these pucks and add vegetables to it and have a perfectly good soup. Or, as you're going to see me do, I'm going to add it to the vegetable mix and everything, and that way make a nice sauce. All right, so I'm going to do that and that. And this time, I'm going to use my magic bullet, just because it's quick. I presume everybody knows what Bisto is, right? It's just a gravy thickening stuff. So I'm going to use some of that. So I'm going to use a couple of teaspoons of that. Wrong top saw. Okay, and I'm going to put the pucks in. And some water. And And now we're just going to blend that up. Be right back. All right. And let's turn that over. That can carry on cooking. Be right back. I might have to cook this to get it to melt fast enough. Okay. Now, we've got 2 containers. What no thing? Jody is saying, thank you, Jody. Jody's saying, Sal, you're such a creative and efficient cook. Love the way you make a base of something and then use it for other things during the week. Yes, and you see, this way it allows me to buy a big can. You know, to buy a can this big for one person is insane. But what I do is I either use it up during the week or I will just freeze it. But I get the advantages of saving money by buying the big can. I don't think this costs me more than a couple of bucks. And it makes a great thickener. But also, you know, I can use it in different ways for the next month without any problem at all. And I'm glad that you like that. You know, I'm always trying to think of how to help you guys stretch your money. As you know, and I think we're going to need it more and more. And also, I'm going to take 1 chicken breast, and you know, last week we made a lot of food out of a couple of burgers. This week, I'm going to just take probably half of this chicken breast and put it in for the pot pies, and the other half I will use either sliced up or on top of my salads or just as a protein snack or something like that. So I am all the time looking to see how can I make meat the addition to my meal rather than the total meal. Do you all know what I'm saying? You know, I grew up, you know, where half my plate was meat. And now I'm trying to make the meat the addition, not the main part. So the vegetables are doing very well. Smelling good. And I'm going to just make sure that we've got that cooked. It's 82 degrees or 28 centigrade. 82 degrees in my kitchen at the moment. Let's put that in. Yeah, there we go. Mode. All right. Chicken. All right, so we're going to put this in to the fattest part of the chicken and let that carry on cooking. Shouldn't take that long, actually. All right, blend. What did I do with it? Oh, I cooked it. Now, obviously, I meant to thaw those pucks out before I started this, but it's also good that I could show you that you can do that. You can just take them out of the freezer and then use them. So we have got chicken, as I thought, is not very far away from being done. We got the vegetables not very far away from being done, and then we're going to construct these. And then we're going to let those cook while we deal with the pastry, which is going to be fun, I hope. Come on. All right, so here we've got, remember we've got a little bit of that pea and ham soup in there. And so I've got some, you can still see some of the white beans in there, so that's good. And I'm going to put a little of that into each of the containers. Okay. And now I'm going to add some of the vegetables. And we'll just now, just going to stir that up. And the chicken is about done, so that's going to be good. Now, as usual, I thought we would do Lauren, go right ahead. It's just that I will read it after you've typed it. All right, so now what I'm going to do is make two completely different tasting things. Sharon saying, oh, I had a blonde moment. All of the appliances beeping. I had to go and see if my oven malfunctioned, and then I realized it's just Sal. Yeah, you're right. It's just me. All right, so here we go. The chicken is done. So we can turn that off. And I'm just going to cut that up. Everything's out of there. That's good. Oops. Right, so let's just cut this up quickly. There we go. It's done, but I'd like it just to have done a little bit more. So, just to be safe. All right, so now then, we're going to do one sweet chicken dish and one a little bit curry chicken dish, okay? So for the sweet one, I'm going to add some plum sauce, my favorite go-to, and put that in there. So this is the sweet one. Okay, and chicken and pineapple, I think, or mandarins. Which would you prefer? You think I should put pineapple or mandarins in with it? Let's see what the vote is. I have both. Yeah, we're going to do the curry flavor in a second. So this one is the, or do you think we should do the curry flavor with all of this in it? Also possible. That tastes good. And also I want to pick up some of the juices from here. Oh, okay, so good. Okay, what did we get? Mandarin or both? I think I'm going to try. I tell you what, I'll do one of each, all right? That'll make them both sweet, but that doesn't really matter. All right, so the reason is I think we did a mandarin thing last week, so I thought pineapple might be a nice change this week. So let's put some of that in. Here we go. So we got some pineapple chunks in there. That's good. And we're going to put a little bit of curry powder in there. Mix all that up. And now we're going to put the chicken in, because I know that's really done now. I'm going to keep those bits of chicken for my adding to things this week. And I'm going to put these little bits in with what we're doing now. So we're going to put those little bits in. Thank you. And quite honestly, you don't need more than about this much chicken. In it goes. All right, what other seasonings? This is the curry type one. What else would you like in here? Some black pepper maybe? Yeah, it definitely needs black pepper. What did I do with my black pepper? There we go. And in fact, this is a mixture of peppers. Now remember, we've already got curry powder in there, so it's going to be pretty well seasoned anyway. Now I can choose later in the week whether I want to have this with maybe, you know, a little bit of rice or not, or whether I want to have it with pastry. I'm just going to taste that, see what it's like. More pepper. I know what. I'm going to put in some of that special mustard that Jeannie sent me. You know, this is mustard with molasses. It's going to taste really good in there. Not too much, just a teaspoon. We'll give it that extra flavor. Oh yeah, that is nice. Definitely recommend that. Okay, so one is done, and I'm just going to put a top on that and let it cool off. And then the other one, here we go. Cut up the chicken for that one. Tastes good. So we'll put the mandarin in here. Yeah, let's put it all in there. Be tasty, won't it? Mix it all up. That needs some salt. So this is lemon pepper salt mixture. It should just give it that extra bit of taste. Yes, I like that. Okay, so this one is done. And from that same chicken breast, I now still have chicken to have during the week on, a salad, or just have it on its own if I feel like it. So we just quickly cut that up. It really tastes good, people. All right, where are we? Have you ever used pink Himalaya's salt? No, Jody, why would I do that? Yes, Jody. I'm going to tell you a funny story about this. Wade, with Yvonne, Wade was giving me a whole lecture one evening about how the monks in the Himalayas chipped out this salt, how they crushed it and all that stuff. And he carried this story on for about 15 minutes. And I was trying to be polite. And as I was being polite, I realized he was stringing me one right there. And Jody's saying she heard that it has some health benefits. Well, Jody, I did a bit of research into that. And I could be wrong, and I know you will do your own research into it, but what I read in the research was it really isn't that healthy. It's still salt. So just be careful how much you use. All right, so, we didn't use any tomato sauce in any of them. Do we need one to give it a slightly different taste? Yeah, I think we'll do that one in the second one, the mandarin and tomato sauce. Why do I think it should go in there? Let's try it. I'll let you know if it ruins it. Yeah. I always trust my gut. If my gut says do it, then I do. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Nothing wrong with that at all. So, well done. All right, so that's done. That can go back in the fridge. Needs a lid. And now we're going to work with the pastry. So I'm going to put all that away. And as you can see, the chicken will just cool off in here. So all this can go away. All right, so two completely different meals. One slightly curry flavor, and this one, the mandarin tomato flavor. And remembering that the chicken itself had that yogurt and soy sauce marinade. And so that's important to remember as well. All right, so put these aside here. Make a bit of room. I thought I would show you, if you missed it. These are the sun-dried tomatoes that I have been making in my greenhouse window every week, because I bring in tomatoes every week at the moment until mine start to give me fruit, which is getting close. But, I just, whatever's left over at the end of the week, I just sun dry them. And I'll be adding them to recipes over the winter. So it worked really well. And I'm sorry Jeannie isn't here because I wanted her to know how much I enjoy this. Awesome. Right, so I don't need that anymore. We don't need these anymore. Now here's my next trick. You know, all the chicken, all the crud from the chicken is now on this, and my actual worktop, my crepe maker, is clean. How many of you going, that's clever? It's just a piece of that barbecue type stuff that I cut in that way. Now, I also want to tell you there is another hack. I won't do it tonight, but what I would normally do is put this in a flat pan and put some water in it and then get the taste of those, those burnt bits are always where the taste is. And I say burnt, they're not burnt, they're caramelized. And I would do that. So, but I'm not going to do that today. All right, excuse me 1 second. Allergy time. I'm just going to roll that a little bit more. And here is the next trick. All right, so here's the pastry that we made, and you can see it's still got chunks of fat in it. And what I'm going to do, come on, be nice. Thank you. Let's make that into another bowl. Remember, try not to handle it too much because it'll make it tough. Okay, and one last one. There you go. So, and now what I'm going to do is just cook these in 375, which would be 190 in Canadian. Now you've got two choices. You can either freeze them as they were and then bring them out as you need them, or you can cook them and then freeze them. So these ones I'm going to cook just so that you can see. All right, so Kimmy's asking the question, which is, would anybody go to a festival where they're going to be people vaccinated and not vaccinated? Okay? Jody's answering, anyone that attends a gathering does so at their own risk. Some people are under the impression that the pandemic is over, and some don't and won't get vaccinated. Personally, I wouldn't be going, says Jody. If you go, I would, isolate myself if I could, or I'd make sure I was wearing a mask to protect myself as much as possible. But, it's like, these are going to be super spreader events. And the people who are going to be affected most are those people who are not vaccinated. You are not at risk as much as those that are not vaccinated. All right, so Kimmy's saying, that's what I was thinking, but people are telling me to stop being afraid. I could die tomorrow from anything. Yes, and you know something? I know you well enough to know, Kimmy, that if those same people told you jump off a cliff because you learn how to fly, you wouldn't do it. You'd make your own decision. And so this is where we get to be judged by people. And my attitude is, Kimmy, you are at risk. You have asthma and you have all sorts of other things. Even though you've had the vaccinations, I would not suggest putting myself into a super spreader event unless you really had to. All right? So, that is just your choice. I can't tell you what to do. From this point onwards, all I know is over 90% of the people sitting in hospital right now are people who are unvaccinated, not vaccinated. Now, if they have a festival where they're saying only vaccinated people can attend, then I'd say you're much more safe. Yeah? But that's just my opinion. And who cares about my opinion? It's your body, it's your health, and your asthma. And if your lungs are already weakened because of asthma, I would not be taking any risks. And Jody's saying, keep in mind that anyone that's immune compromised, which doesn't have full protection from the vaccine. Yep. And that's why I'm not going to mess with it. I don't care if people judge me, Kimmy. I don't care if they think I'm a wuss. I don't care if they think that I should be going out there. It's not their body. It's mine. I get to protect my body any way I choose, right? And it's not for somebody else to tell me. By the way, if you don't do what, they want to take risks, and if you don't take the risks that they want you to, have you noticed how they attack you? Try not to react to that. Go, hey, your body, your risk, make your own choice. I'm not going to tell you what to do. And hopefully you will not judge me for what I choose to do. And leave it at that. And, I quite honestly, Kim, if you decide to go or not, my attitude is, the risk. It's now what's called, what do they call it? A thought out decision. All right? You know the risk. And if you know the risks and still decide to go, that's your right. Now, I'm pretty sure that Jody's not going to be going to anything. Wait a minute. Let me ask you, Jody. I know Lionel goes to the baseball game. How does he protect himself at the baseball game? Let me ask you that, just so we can understand. Because I am pretty certain that he has got, a routine that he does to make himself feel safe and, not bringing stuff home to you. How long do you reckon that pastry's been in? I forgot to time it. Duh. Alexa, 20-minute warning, please. I think it's been in about 5 minutes, right? Okay. You know me. When you see the flames coming out of the oven, let me know. All right, so Jody's saying Lionel's vaccinated, he wears a mask and doesn't sit in the general crowd. He is in the press box. Well, isn't he the lucky guy? Yes. So how many people are in the press box? Probably 2 or 3 only, right? And so that is awesome. What a great place to be able to watch the game from. All right, so I've got some more quotes for you if I can get to them. Yeah, 3 people in the press box. That's what I thought. Normally, it's how many there are. So that's called calculated risk. That is pretty low. And when he comes home, does he get rid of his clothes immediately, or is he sort of more relaxed about that now? I just want to know, out of interest, how people are doing this. I thought this was a great quote. And by the way, I'm quoting it because I want you to hear who it came from. It said, when a man opens a car door for his wife, it's either a new car or a new wife. Prince Philip said that. All right, Kimmy's saying, I cannot believe our town is having this music festival, knowing what could happen. When I went to the store, there were a lot of people, and I saw cars from out of state. Yes, you're going to see more and more. The thing is, don't let it upset you. What is happening is the unvaccinated people are going to be at very severe risk. All right, so Jody's saying, when Lionel comes in, yes, immediately his clothes go in the wash because my immune system is compromised. Absolutely. So this is called, from this point onwards, people, it is the pandemic. I think this was worded in the last 48 hours, the pandemic of the unvaccinated now. Now, before you judge that too harshly, did you know that our Jan, who is a viewer here and was on at lunchtime, is unvaccinated? And I was really surprised about that, to be honest. But as she explained to us, she is unvaccinated because at the time when it all happened, she was undergoing some severe surgery and also had a number of aneurysms at the same time. And they didn't want her to have a vaccine. They were scared of her, ability to be able to cope with the vaccine. And she's saying that she isn't vaccinated, but she has not left the house in 8 months. Can you believe that? So don't judge, seek first to understand. If people say to you, I have not been vaccinated, and who's going to admit that? That's the question. But some people will, and they'll say it with a lot of bravado. And they're the same people who won't be wearing masks. You know that, all right? If you haven't bothered to get vaccinated, the chances are you're not going to be the person who's wearing a mask either. So, think about that. And so now this is a problem that the unvaccinated people have got because they're the ones that are predominantly going to get sick. And those of us who have compromised immune system will just need to be very careful, which we've been all along. So it's nothing new. That pastry's coming up. So here's the science behind the pastry. Remember we had those chunks of fat in it? I should probably put the... I'm going to put the fan on. I hope it's not too noisy because I don't want to set off the fire alarm. It triggers me a bit. So here's the science about that business about the fat in the puff pastry. What is happening now is that the fat will start to bubble, and that's what causes the puff in the puff pastry. And so hopefully if this experiment works, I'm going to enjoy my dinner tonight, people. But in the meantime, I said I would show you some instant cupcakes. Now, I came up with this, recently. Because there are days when I just feel like a cupcake or two. How about you guys? And again, it's all about portion control. Let me see if I've got any more cupcake holders here. Yes, I do. All right, so it's all about portion control. So if I only make enough for 2 cupcakes, I won't have more than 2, right? Make sense? And this is how I do it. You're going to love this. So I start off with my little small mixing bowl, otherwise known as a ramekin. And I put in some cake mix. This one happens to be Betty Crocker chocolate fudge in both official languages. And I just pour some of that, about half full. Okay? Got it? Now, if I'm making the cake, I would also be adding fat and all sorts of things, but I will add an egg. So remember, if you're going to crack an egg, do it on a paper towel so the gungy bits go on the paper towel. And I'm going to try it with one hand, people. I love it. And I'm going to add a little bit of water to it, just a tad. So no fat at all. That's all I'm doing is adding a little, 1 egg and a little bit of water until you get what I call the cake sort of consistency. Okay. Look at that. Enough for a third one. Golly gee. I'm only going to do the third one because, you know. Okay. How long do you think? How long do you think I'm going to cook them for? You're going to love this. So here they are. Just 1 egg and a little bit of water added to them. And I'm going to microwave them for 90 seconds. Seriously, microwave, 90 seconds. How many of you are going, cupcakes in 90 seconds? Yes. Now, what I will do is once the 90 seconds are up, I'm going to check to see do they still look a bit glossy. And if they do, then I will add another 20 seconds and keep doing that until I can't see any gloss on them anymore. Does that make sense? Hope so. Okay. What are the ingredients? I took a little bit of cake mix. As I said, Kimmy, a little bit of cake mix, about a cup, and 1 egg, and a little bit of water. That's all. Now, how many of you don't lick the bowl anymore after you make cake? "90 seconds. I know. I thought you'd like that, Jan, which is why I wanted to show you guys. This is gross, isn't it? I've been experimenting with this for the longest time, Jan. I've got it down to a nearly perfect system. Okay, so when I looked at it, on the edges, it still looked a bit shiny. So I put another 20 seconds on while I continue to clean the bowl. The kid in me will never grow up, will it? Okay, tastes pretty good to me. So now we're up to 100 seconds, 110 seconds. So just about 2 minutes. Okay. Apparently, when you've got 3 of them going at the same time, it takes a little bit longer. So we're now up to 150 seconds. So that is 2 minutes and some. Right. So here we go. Jan saying that's not gross at all. I always opted for the bowl, never the spoon. Exactly. Who wants the small amount, right? And Jody's saying I used to lick the beaters. Yeah, exactly. What's the point of cooking cupcakes if you can't enjoy the spoils of your hard work? Okay, that's good. Seriously. Now, if I've done this right, and I think I have, I'm going to be able to show you that they actually are cooked. However, I just want to be a bit careful about getting them out. So I'm going to take a fork. And all I'm doing is just using the fork to get around the liner. So how many of you are thinking, no way can that be cooked in that time? That's what I thought as well, until I tried it. What do you think? Kimmy's asking, can you put the same thing into just paper cup liners? Yes, if anything that you cook cupcakes in. How many of you are going, that is mind-blowing? Now, it's only half mind-blowing at the moment. Because now we make it fully mind-blowing. Creamy, old-style cream cheese. Oh gosh, you mean you need me to test it for you? Oh, okay. How many of you are going, I can't believe you can cook cupcakes that quickly? And you probably want to know, is it springy? Mm-hmm. So, no fat. Didn't add any fat in. Didn't add, but you could add anything you want in here, right? Sometimes I throw in some coconut. Uh, sometimes I throw in some raisins or cranberries. The other day I put a slice of apple at the bottom and made upside down cake. No, no. Why do you want me to retest it? That's not fair. Okay. If you insist, only because you insist. Yeah. Ah. Be careful when be careful when you take them out of the liners. It gets hot. And how many of you like the idea of cutting them this way and then putting the frosting in the middle? And then I've now got a cupcake with, here I go, test number 2. Surprisingly enough, it tastes just as good. And guess who's not going to be having too much dinner tonight? So, the truth is, the fact that you can do it in like a couple of minutes is what appealed to me. And, I started off thinking, what if you used the cupcake mixture and didn't add the fat, the oil? Would it make a difference? So, Jody, how much of the badness of cake is because of the oil that you add to it? Well, I'd like to suggest that this is how I've learned to be able to eat cake. Have my cake and eat it. And I'm still losing weight, people. Oh gosh, there's one left. I'm going to take it out of its... Thank you, Alexa. Stop. Alexa, stop. Now, I overfilled this one, so it doesn't look as pretty. But okay, good. I don't know if I can get it out. Maybe I can. All right. So I know this is going to surprise you. My kid is very happy at the moment. I'm going to save that one. I know it's surprising, right? So I'm going to put that away, and I will probably have that tomorrow. Or not. Don't put money on how long it will last, please. So again, not using plastic wrap. I'm just using one of my silicone wraps over the top of it. Okay, so I've just turned them over. They're looking great at the bottom. I'm just going to let them cook for another 10 minutes. Alexa, 10-minute warning, please. She's so good here. So, yes, and I agree. Jody's saying you can add a tablespoon of applesauce to replace the oil, but I've proved it's absolutely unnecessary. Yeah, exactly. However, applesauce does taste great in there. The other thing is grated carrot. In there tastes good. Orange. I throw oranges in there. I'll cut up oranges, thin slices, and put them in there as well. So what I'm trying to say is this one cake box, which I opened upside down because, I was in a hurry to get to it, obviously. But this cake box has already lasted me weeks because I literally just take that amount and make a couple of cupcakes from it and then put it away again. How many of you are going, that's so easy? Now there's more. Do you want to hear my next hack? Quite often I will do stewed apple or something, and I will just make it up and I'll pour it over the top of the stewed, the apple bits, so it makes like a topping to it. Jan says, I'm so glad you're losing weight, Sal, but I'm putting it on just watching you. Grape jelly can work well as well. Yes, sugar-free is great too. Absolutely. So remember, ready. Okay, so, I know, I put it away. Yeah. So I have been known to do a cupcake and then over the top of it put some sugar-free jam and then a squidge of of cream over the top of it. And, it's unbelievably good. Yes, Jody, I totally understand that. Jody's saying it sounds so weird, but I actually made chocolate cupcakes that had black beans in the center, and we loved them. I was surprised. I am really surprised how good that tastes. All right, so I do urge you to not worry about the oil. Worry about the other fun things you can put in it. Jody's saying avocado is another option, right? Because that's an oil. And you've seen chocolate avocado ice cream. Yeah, the bad thing about avocado is the color. So if you've got it in chocolate, you won't see the color, and it'll taste just great. So I'm hoping that you enjoyed that. That is what I hope. And when I said to you, I'm going to make instant cupcakes, what was your vision? Still tastes good. And then, just a reminder, if you do them in these liners, I turn the liners inside out and let them soak until I'm ready to put them in the dishwasher. Uh, this one actually got dirty on both sides, so I will need to turn it both ways. But when it goes in the dishwasher, I do it with the where the most gunge is on the outside, so that as the water keeps pulling it down. I hope that works for you. I find it cleans them much better. And I don't know if you've noticed, this is something that I've started doing some time ago. As I use my utensils, I put them in water, along with, that's a piece of paper towel that I used. And the reason is because if I suddenly need an extra teaspoon and I've run out, this one is basically clean. I just have to rinse it off. Does that make sense? Because I go through a lot of utensils when I cook. Ah, bless you. Jody is saying it must take a lot of work to prepare for these cooking segments, Sal. Thank you for your dedication and effort. Actually, I want to tell you something, Jody. It's the cleaning up afterwards that takes the time. I normally don't get to bed until about 1 o'clock on a Friday evening because I will put one load into the dishwasher and wait for it to clean, and then wait for this to be able to load up the second one. And in the meantime, try and clean up everything. It takes a while, but it's worth it if you find it enjoyable. Why do you find it enjoyable? That's always the thing. Because I purposely don't try to do it well, or, I make sure that I do it in a way that I think you can all relate to, rather than the perfect, this is how it's done and it's perfect. I don't want people to feel that they have to be perfect to do that. If you noticed, I mixed in 1 egg, and I didn't measure how much of the powder I put in. I just, the mix. I didn't measure it. I just went, it's about half full, hucked in an egg, and started to, I know roughly what the constitution will be, and just added a bit of water, and it was perfect. It's difficult being perfect, So don't be scared of these things. Don't be scared to experiment. Jody's saying, I wish I could be there to help you. Yeah, I know you do, honey. Don't worry about it. Jody's saying, I feel like we're in your kitchen and just chatting and preparing a meal. We learn new options every time you share your creation. Well, that's why I got this particular kitchen, because it's got this huge island in it. And, when people are going to be coming now to visit me, hopefully, that is exactly what we will be doing. We will be, they will be sitting on the bar stools at the other side of this big island, and I will be creating with them, and I'll be putting them to work. You know that, because that is part of it. By the way, did I tell you Yvonne is coming on Monday? I'm very excited. And, yay, the shower guy is coming on Tuesday to put the rest, put my shower rail, no, what is it, my handheld shower in, which is awesome. So I'm going to have an even better looking shower next week. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to be doing ribs. And so what I thought I might do is, I'm going to be cooking part of it on probably Tuesday. So I don't know if you, how do you all cook ribs? Let me ask you that. Jan is saying, I agree with Jody, and I'm hoping that the testing and retesting helps. It's good for morale. Yes, I wouldn't normally be testing it like that, Jan. Yeah, right. Sharon's saying, when things calm down, we'll have to try for a meetup. Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, right. And for Jody, she's saying that would be a dream come true. Well, you will remember that I did do one meet and greet a long time ago, and I went to Vegas, and I'd never been to Vegas. All right, so interesting. Jody's saying for ribs, she just wraps them in foil and bakes them in the oven. Okay, I don't do that. So I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about how I do them, if anybody is interested. To me, I always do twice cooked ribs. Why? I like my ribs where they just fall off the bone. All right, so what I do is the first time I cook them, I will put them in the slow cooker. And my only goal is to get rid of the excess fat. All right, that's what I do. I put them in the slow cooker and I will just let them get to the hot stage where the fat starts to come off them. And once that's happening, then I will turn the slow cooker off and then let it settle down and let the fat solidify. Okay? Then what I do is I carve the fat off it, drain the ribs, and put them in the fridge overnight. And then the next day, I put them back in the slow cooker with all the sauces. And I don't have barbecue sauce, you know me. Okay, thank you, Alexa. Alexa, stop. Excuse me a second, I got work to do. So, Jody, how would I test that they are good and flaky? Just break them in half for you? Got a feeling it's all going to go over my keyboard. What would be the right way to test it so that we can see that it... Waiting for input here from people who actually know how to cook. Okay, I had a feeling you'd want that. All right. It's good and hot. Okay, so this... Please be careful. It gets really hot. And remember that it's hot because it's fatty. I think I need a plate under it. And this one I will eat with the pot pie this evening. All right, so there we go. Don't know if you can see all the layers of it. Can you see that? So, and the reason that I cut them the way that I did, and you probably worked that out already, is because now I can just pop them on top before I eat them. How's that? Instant chicken pot pie. I'm going to put it in the oven to heat up because, you know, any minute now I'm going to start eating it. So I'm going to let these cool, and then I will wrap them up. so that I can just bring out one. But you will remember I cut them with this, which is roughly the same size. If you don't have one the right size, you can actually cut it with the rim itself. But you can imagine, right? I can literally take the next, I can take this out of the freezer if it gets that far, which it won't. Literally take the top off it, drop one of these in. Makes sense? Drop one in and then just warm it up. And I have an instant meal. All done. Any questions on that? Did my burger press survive the upheaval from the fire? Good question. Let me see if I can answer that. I think it did. Maybe not. I would think yes. I just haven't found it yet. There it is. Yes, it is. So is this a call for more stuffed burgers? Okay, so anybody else want me to do stuffed burgers? I think I've got the makings of stuffed burgers. Next time. Okay. Why do I think that used to fit on? Oh, wrong way up. That's why. More stuffed burgers. I've got brie cheese, so can you imagine them with brie cheese inside? Yum. Okay. There we go. And another great way to make meat go further, right? Because you have got other stuff in the center of them. So I'm so pleased with the pastry. I have not cooked pastry in the time that I can remember. So the fact that it worked, and I didn't cheat it, I didn't practice it, I just thought, I'm just going to try this. So what I'm going to do now, and I don't know if this makes any sense to you, I'm going to take my phone, and I'm going to take a picture of that because that worked. I haven't tasted it yet. Why didn't you get me to taste test it? And so now what I've done is just taken a screenshot, if you like, okay, of what I put in it. And now I will save that. I feel I need to taste the pastry, but I don't want to, mind you. I'll take the small one. Well, I don't know if you saw my body language, but can you hear how crunchy it is? When I say crunchy, it's not burnt or anything. And did you see my body language where I'm trying to catch the bits that are dropping? So, I'm actually quite pleasantly surprised. I will make pastry again, unfortunately. Oh! Now, nobody's asked me, can I taste the almond flour? No. I cannot taste almond flour in there. It just tastes like pastry. Now, the next question, the next time I do it, I will do half and half. Half real flour and half almond flour and see how that works. But this definitely, the problem that I have with these cooking things is that, once I start eating, mm, I meant to ask you guys about that. Good idea. Jody's saying that next time when I make the dough, to actually roll some herbs in the dough. It's a good idea. By the way, definitely, this works. And so can you see the advantage of making small ones? Because other than the testing day, because this means that when I go to the freezer, I grab one thing of the pot pie and the thing to go on top of it. I don't need another plate. I don't need another plate. I just drop that on there, warm it all up, and eat it from here. So less washing up, unlike tonight, less washing up, less everything, and little bit of leftover meat. Jody's saying I could also have put cheese in this dough. More experiment. How many of you are going, what if we made sweet pastry? You can tell I'm not enjoying this. I'm purely doing this to pretend. What can I say? So easy to do. Leftover vegetables. Those vegetables that I put in here, when I get to the end of a carrot or something and I just chop up that very last bit and put it in a bag, a general bag. Hang on. Okay, I just put in a general bag. It's got a bit of zucchini, some carrots, some celery, some leeks, some peppers, all right? And I just put the ends in like that. So the next time I'm making shepherd's pie or whatever, this is what I will pulverize and put in the shepherd's pie. Or add to a soup. Or make pot pie. No. Now, John, as long as you understand, the only reason I'm eating this is to pretend that it's okay. No, that I'm enjoying it. Interesting. Kim is saying, season the dough with Hidden Valley Ranch dressing powder. Nice idea. All right, now then. This is called vegetable pulp. I'm on a thing where I cook myself, except for today, soup every night. I make a little cup of soup every night. I say little, but it's normally a mug of soup. All right, I make myself the mug of soup every night, right? And I just make enough for a couple of days. But I don't like my soups to be too chunky. So what I do is I pulverize it all up in Nigel the Ninja, and then I strain it. So I still get a lot of the pulp, but I control how much of the pulp. And the rest of the pulp I keep. I do not throw it away. And guess where this goes? This will be added to, when I make the sauce to go over the, oh, look at that bit more. when I make the sauce to go over the barbecue spare ribs, this is going to be in there. Jody's saying it really helps the weight loss to start with a cup of soup. I don't start with a cup of soup. That is now my dinner. That's what I've been doing, Jody. I realized I need to use up a lot of vegetables and leftover meats. You know, both my fridge and freezer are now full, just about. So it's time to stop buying and start using so I can start rotating. So here we go. What else can you use vegetable pulp in? I actually will cut this up into squares. And quite honestly, if I am making an omelet, I will throw one square. Like, you know, it's almost like you could actually freeze it in ice cube containers, but mine were all used. So I just put it like this. But now I will just cut it up. And then, you know, whenever I'm making gravy or something, I will throw some in because it's got all the good stuff in it. Yeah, Jody's saying I couldn't put a Rice Krispie in my freezer right now. Mine's doing pretty well. I no longer have room for a couple of bodies in it, that's for sure. Again, let's go back to the whole reason I did this. Oh, my sandals? You like them? I want to tell you, they're not cheap. I just want to warn you, Kimmy, they are not cheap. They're Birkenstocks, and I would spend the money again in a heartbeat. Why don't I just take one off? That would be much easier. Okay. All right, so they are rubber. I am not joking, Kimmy. I wear them all day long. I get them filthy dirty in the garden, and I just walk into the shower wearing them. And by the time I finish my shower, they're clean again. They go beautifully with whatever I'm wearing. You know, I'm not joking. I can wear them morning, noon, and night, and they still look good with whatever I'm wearing. And I'm not joking. They are really comfortable. You know, they're supported. The thing is that I bought bigger than I thought I needed because I thought that would be better. But I now know I can go down a size the next pair I get. And you know I will be getting another pair. I wanted to see how well did they last, right? Would they last a full season? I would think these will last a few seasons, quite honestly, in which case it isn't a waste of money. And the fact that they are so easy to clean doesn't make them a waste of money. I will now be looking at what sort of Birkenstocks would I like for the winter. Now that I know that these are definitely the ones I want for the summer, and I might, you know, next year buy another pair, I don't need to have a whole lot of shoes. I literally did my 5K wearing these. That's how comfortable they are. So, again, not cheap, but are they a waste of money? No. I would say an investment rather than a waste. My feet, I've been struggling with edema, as you know, because of what's going on with my blood pressure. But the interesting thing is that I had to tighten them. One of them I had to loosen up because my edema in my one foot, the swelling in my one foot went up too high. So I had to loosen the one up. And today, because I'm now on diuretics, today I was able to take that down a notch again. So that's good. Yes, Jody's saying hers have got a cork sole at the bottom. Do not walk into the shower wearing those. I used to have a pair of those in my trailer. They were in my trailer for 20 years. Best camping shoes ever, as far as I was concerned. Um, so, I have to say, I don't feel I wasted my money on them at all, as you gather. Now, I'm sorry to have to leave you, but I've got a pot pie. It's got my name on it. And if the pastry is anything to go by, I might even double up on the pastry. Well, see, if I doubled up on the pastry, then I could still freeze two. Well, hang on, I already had one. No, no, be disciplined. So, what did you enjoy about this evening's broadcast? What did you go? I'm glad I watched it because um, I'm hoping that you enjoyed the instant cupcake thing. It has been one of my greatest joys. I love to experiment with things. One of my greatest joys is that I can make cupcakes in 2 minutes. In fact, when I'm just making it for myself, I can do it in 90 seconds. I added that extra one in there. Yeah. And remember, you can also do it by taking a ramekin and just putting some fruit at the bottom and then just pouring some on top and then putting it into the microwave. You'll love it as well. Good. And remember to get creative. Put things in with it. Applesauce, cranberries, raisins, whatever. Just make it interesting. And again, remember that the trick is portion control. You saw me annihilate the cupcakes. But when you think about it, I had 2 cupcakes without any oil in them, with a little bit of frosting. Not very much, quite honestly. I probably had a teaspoon of frosting in there. Not the end of the world. You understand what I'm doing? By having the portion control, I can expand what I can eat. Yes, what a good idea. Sharon's saying, I'm thinking chocolate chips and pecans. Right. And you guys didn't see... I was showing everybody my Christmas cards that I've been making this week. And the experiment that I did with the Christmas cards. So if you missed that at lunchtime, you may want to just check that video, because that really fascinated a lot of people. In fact, I think Beth put in an order. But it was just like, I literally was talking about the fact that I had a bad day yesterday. I was blue, and then I had a run-in with my neighbor again. And then I ended up last night, consuming a full bag of candy. Now, you all know that that's not something I meant to do, being pre-diabetic. But luckily, because I've been well trained by Jody, it was a bad day. And today, what have I had to eat? Very little, quite honestly. I've had a lot of liquids, but I've had, I think I had 1 slice of bread with some peanut butter today. That's all I've had. So, having the pastry is not going to put me that much out of whack. And Jody, I really have to thank you, because, I literally took my blood sugar this morning and I saw the number and my eyes rolled and I went, seriously, Sal, you could have gone over to Betty Ann's and had a full dinner with her and it would be the same. So just understand this wasn't the end of the world. Just be careful for the next couple of days. And what helps me do that is the portion control. You do know that when I will immediately put the second one of these in the freezer. Why? I don't want to come back for seconds. Does that make sense to you? I'm going to put this straight into the freezer. I can have it this week, but I don't want to think, oh, that was good with the other one, and let me get some more of that pastry and have the other one as well. This is called portion control, and this one was the bigger one. That one's going in the freezer. But there are 3 bits of pastry left. Yeah, going in the freezer. All right, this is DearMamaSal saying thank you so much for being here with me. And thank you for enjoying these, because it actually It makes my Friday evening, I go, wonder what I should cook up today. I thought I might try butter chicken. Never cooked it. And, you know, if you've got anything else you'd like to see me try, knowing that it will be my version of it, you know, let me know. And you know, to me, this is all about how do I make the meat that I've got go farther? That's what I'm looking at, and yet still be tasty and still enjoyable. All right, so Jody's saying, I love butter chicken. Isabel's saying, I really enjoy these Friday nights. Well, that's great to hear, everybody. So, big hugs from me. Keep playing and understand less meat, more creativity. We're going to need it. We are really going to need it. This is DearMamaSal saying thank you. And by the way, thanks to Pat, if she happens to ever see this, for my apron. And Jeannie, if you happen to see this, my thanks to you for that. I'm going to have to now look online to see if I can get this stuff online. But it is so good. It is mustard with molasses in it. What's not to like about that? It's got the tang of mustard and then that sweetness of the molasses. You remember I did that beef? How many of you were there when I cooked that beef? And it looked like it was totally charred on top. It wasn't. What it was the sugar in the molasses had caramelized. And I want to tell you that I keep pulling out a couple of pieces of that beef. And every time I get through that crust of it, and I go, oh, that tastes so good. I am definitely going to be using that over my beef again. Amazing. I think I might even be putting it in with my spare ribs. Good idea. This is DearMamaSal saying, have a great evening. Think of me as I try to tidy up. I will be muttering all the way. No, it's fine. It'll be done in a few hours. This is DearMamaSal saying, love you dearly, and bye-bye for now.